Have you heard of a little thing called Discord? Well, if you haven't, let me inform you. Discord is an amazing app where you can interact with gaming communities and content creators such as myself more directly. It's an app that is just great for community building. I'm one of the owners of a Kingdom Hearts Discord server called The Union. We've been growing rapidly lately and are a little over halfway to 1,000 members. Thank you guys for that. If you don't have an account, it takes like less than a minute to make one, so create an account and join the Union Discord server today to get a chance to talk to some of the members of the community and its creators as well. I really look forward to seeing you guys there. Now let's get on with the video. Apologies to all the people who were waiting for this video, but I've spent all day trying my hardest to figure out how to understand what has happened in this update. This must be the most convoluted update that has happened in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross to date. Like, Numura went berserk in this update, meaning there's a lot to process. So keep me in your thoughts as I attempt to give you a synopsis of what this update covered and what to expect in the future of Union Cross. Before we officially start, I told him I was going to do this. Big shout out to the Frozen Cavern for helping me understand this. I had a lot of back and forth discussions with him the other day about this update, and if it wasn't for him, you might not have even gotten a video about this for at least a couple more days. So go subscribe to him and his channel. He reviews like old school license-based video games in a comedic format, very entertaining, and he dabbles in Kingdom Hearts as well in his live streams, so go ahead and subscribe to the man for me. Now with that out of the way, let's tackle this. So this story update continues immediately off of the last story update with Ephemer, Ven, and the player when they go to visit Brain in his location, which they don't quite explain what this place is either, but it seems like a control room of sorts. You can see in this room that all of the data worlds that you visit throughout Kingdom Hearts Key are being monitored. Brain asks who this new person is, and Ephemer introduces him as the player. So due to that, Brain says he's going to put everything simply, since everything is already complicated enough. The biggest lie ever told in the Kingdom Hearts series. This whole story update revolves around the confusion being caused by the data anomalies in this world. The Union leaders are just as confused about them though as we are, and that confusion that they have only makes us even more confused. Brain attempts to make sense of some of this, but there is one glaring issue. They can't decide whether or not this world they are in is the fake /data world or the real one. Brain starts us off by saying this is a future world. Keep that in mind. And he implies that this world was made to look like a world from the past. He goes on about how in the Book of Prophecies in the world after the Keyblade War, which they are in, all the worlds became scattered, which is something we've known since Kingdom Hearts 1. He represents this idea using the books on the table, by keeping them together and then eventually separating them, which represents worlds in the Kingdom Hearts series. Don't dwell on the books too much as of yet because there's no glaring importance with them as of yet in this context. They also retouched upon that this future world was created and maintained by creating data of all of the Disney worlds, which we know the dandelions are training in, so we have no memories of tragedy in this world line, which you should know if you've been following the Kingdom Hearts Key lore for a while now. The problem is he's not as specific about it this time, which is why so many people were confused about these few lines, including myself at first. The reason this is so confusing is because Brain is reiterating the information we already know, but in a way different context. So it was extremely easy for us to get confused and think he was stating something new, but when you look at the whole picture, he really wasn't. What the game was attempting to do here, but ultimately delivered with very poorly, was try and refresh us on what timeline we're supposed to be in and why and how the data worlds were made, which if you want a better explanation on, I highly recommend going to past updates about this, where they explain it way better. Now here is where the really important stuff starts to happen and where the big conflict takes place and where the plot thickens even more. Brain, after all that catching up he did with with the fellow union leaders, and the player says, so here's the issue. Like I said earlier, he wants to know if the Daybreak town they are currently in is real or fake. Ephemer gives a shaky answer and says, if you think about the easy way, it's the real one, right? Now, Brain, in a very sarcastic-like tone I can imagine, says, right? But our situation right now is not easy at all. Brain seems to kind of think similarly to Ephemer. It gives off that vibe, and it seems like he agrees with him that he is in the real world, but if it is, then data anomalies like that should not be happening here, if it is the real world that they are in. Though something I purposely skipped around explaining until now was that there is a existing world within our real world that shouldn't be there, that must have a role to play in all these things happening, which means that there must be a portal, an entrance that is developed to reach that world. This world that is connected to ours does not exist in time, however. They don't quite explain what that means, so I recommend don't dwell on it too much and kind of take it for what it is. And most of this is because they don't even know what that means. But Brain has a hunch that it was something planned way in advance. They are not able to cut off this connection, so there's no choice but to investigate this world that is connected to theirs. Ephemer wants to be the one to go, but Brain says that a dandelion should be the one to investigate, since Ephemer is a union leader and all. So the player, who probably should not even be hearing this and who was pretty much just sitting around this whole time, says he'll go, though Ephemer doesn't seem to want him to go alone, so Ephemer, the player, and his Kirthi end up going together. Brain does his work and manages to open the portal, securing a route for them, and they go on their way to find out what's going on. After going through the portal, they arrive in this tunnel looking thing, fight some Heartless and a Darkling who says, you are different. I don't know whether he's talking to the player or Ephemer, but that's a really interesting line, and I'll touch upon that in a moment. That same Darkling actually runs away into a blinding light that they also run in, chasing after it, and guess where they end up? The game station from Wreck-It Ralph. Then, the update just ends. It just ends. The big cliffhanger that we're going to be stuck on for another 2-3 weeks to a month. That was a whole lot to take in, because Brain was speaking in freaking tongues, dude. Like, I'm convinced after this update that Brain is simply just a 2D version of Nomura. Like, no one can convince me otherwise at this point. Like, I know his name is Brain, dude, but holy crap, man, that was too much. That was way too much. I'm not even really shocked at anything in particular that happened in this update. I'm kind of more on the confused and even agitated side. Like, this cutscene needs to be remade into like a 3D game, a movie, a Union Cross back cover, it doesn't matter, but I'll talk about that in a moment. So, I want to throw a couple of things out there. We've known that this world was coming to Union Cross for pretty much a year now. Like, I think it was slightly after the Kingdom Hearts 3 premiere event last year that they said that a Link from Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to have their own world in Union Cross, and that person has not had a world in the Kingdom Hearts series previously, and I think the only person who even filled that criteria was Ralph, so we pretty much knew that this world was coming. I don't know how important the game station is going to be to the future of the Kingdom Hearts key storyline, but given the context of this update, it seems like it's going to be pretty important. I'm theorizing right now, and this may sound like a stretch, but this might be how they will involve Yozora into the story. Yes, that Yozora from the Kingdom Hearts 3 secret ending. The Verum Rex video game character from the freaking Toy Box world that is now a thing in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Yes, that Yozora. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's something that we have to keep in mind now, leading into the next Kingdom Hearts saga. I also think that within the next few updates again, that we will figure out who Luke Shu bequeaths his Keyblade to finally. I really know it's happening soon. I really feel it. Like, I kind of feel like Kingdom Hearts Union Cross might come to an end a little bit sooner than we think. Actually, I really hope so. I'm extremely suspicious now of the player in this story though. I feel like in Kingdom Hearts Key, the player has always kind of been a spectator, but this time the player is way more involved. Just that one scene with the player saying he was going to go into this new world face first into danger makes all the difference for his character. Alongside the Darkling saying to someone, "You are different," I really feel like they are talking about the player. And if they are, then this may sound crazy, even crazier than the Yozora thing, but what if your character is the one Luke Shu bequeaths no name to? And if they are, then this may sound crazy, even crazier than the Yozora thing, but what if your character is the one Luke Shu bequeaths no name to? Just to throw that out there. I know it might not make sense with Luke Shu specifying in the reports that one of the Union leaders is going to be given the Keyblade, but I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that the player is now a possibility, like a curveball of sorts, if there wasn't enough in Kingdom Hearts Key to begin with. But I believe that would make a lot of sense if this was how Yozora came into play, because from what we know, Yozora is from a video game himself in Verum Rex, and they happen to be at the game station in Wreck-It Ralph, so put the two together, and it might make a little bit of sense if Verum Rex Yozora ended up being involved in the real world, if that's how they ended up being in this modern timeline, outside of their game. I feel like this update was probably the most confusing update out of all of the Union Cross updates that I've read and have been caught up on so far. It's not even because like they reveal any big crazy information, but it's more so because the delivery behind the explanations in this update, like they explain things in a very wacky way. And honestly, I tried my best to summarize it, but even I am not 100% certain I'm right about everything here. Lots of things are up in the air, and I feel like that's a feeling I'm going to have to get used to until Union Cross ends, which is hopefully soon, please. Like, I just want this game to be done, the story updates to be done. You can have your mobile game, you can still update it, we can still visit Agrabah 1,000 times, but just get all the canon stuff out of the way, please, and let us get a remaster or move on, because I kind of just want it to end so we can move on, so I can know what comes after. I feel like we've been in this Union Cross cycle, this Key cycle. The Key saga actually has been going on since 2013. Think about that. That is actually crazy. Like, what? I feel like I'm going to be provided more questions rather than answers as we get into more and more story updates, and all I can say is that this story update, more than anything, has proved to me why we need a Kingdom Hearts Key remake or Union Cross back cover or something, because I feel like the biggest reason things like this come off as really confusing was because there was so minimal in terms of visuals to go along with it. And some people act like the visuals in these things don't matter when it comes to understanding a story, but with games like Kingdom Hearts, when you have a game where like a lot of the explanation is visuals, like there needs to be something there. I won't lie, like most Union Cross story updates, they left me with a big cliffhanger that kind of has me begging for more. So in terms of that, good job, Square. And I have to give them credit where it's due. They do know, no matter what, no matter how annoying it is to get to that point, they do know how to make a story engaging. They do know how to keep you excited for the next story update. They do know how to keep you excited for the next Kingdom Hearts game. So I guess they have me trapped in a way. But tell me what you think down below in the comment section. What was your response to this update? Did you like it? Dislike it? What wacky theories from this update do you have? Tell me all and more down below in the comments. Other than that, if you enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the Union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.